I had to watch this again to know how I felt about this series, and I feel the same way I did the first time I watched it. If any of you enjoyed this, I'm not going to attack you. I'm just going to stay far away from you as possible and respect your opinion at the exact same time. I watched it all, man, and I know people probably want me to talk about the plot, but I feel so depressed to talk about it because it was that forgettable. I was more frustrated than excited with this series, and that's a really bad thing, of course. People say that this is the worst CG adaptation, and I agree with them. Damnation is my favorite, while Vendetta was a mixed bag for me. I haven't watched Degeneration yet, but I know from clips and everything else, it's better than this piece of shit. I usually put background music in, but no. I want you guys to hear every problem I had with this, and I just want to get into the problems I have, and you know what? I'll explain the plot very quickly. A US politician wants to start a war with China for his own greed, and is responsible for the beginning flashback being involved with bioterrorism. His name is Secretary Wilson. Now, with that out of the way, I was typing so many thoughts I had on this series. I want to share with what I was not liking, and there were a lot of things, so let's get into those things because I'm probably going to be ranting most of the time. The first and obvious problem of them all is Claire. She was absolutely buried in this and had little screen time, and when she did, she was a damsel in distress. Claire isn't in my top 5 favorite RE characters, but every time that she popped up onto the screen, I was actually quite happy because they were giving her no screen time at all. And just when I thought it was going to be a good scene, it was just little screen time again. I want to ask you guys something. How do we go from Code Veronica and a little bit of Degeneration Claire to Infinite Darkness Claire? Let me just put this in a music comparison. That's like Drake's Take Care album or his If You're Reading This It's Too Late mixtape to Scorpion and Certified Lover Boy. For the rock fans, let me do another comparison. 3 Days Grace with Adam Gontier and then without him. That's what Code Veronica Claire felt like to Infinite Darkness Claire. She had little screen time and it was all focused on Leon and the others. She felt like a side character to the side character. Like, let me just say this again. Jason was a side character. You know who would be a side character to Jason? Claire. That's seriously how it felt like. And let me remind you guys, Claire Redfield is one of the main 4 Resident Evil main characters, along with Leon, Jill, and Chris. And she got treated like shit this entire series. It made little to no sense. The one moment where we thought she was finally gonna get a badass moment. Nope. She just gets tasered from behind, and then she becomes the damsel in distress. What the fuck? Like, why? You did a great job with her in RE2 Remake, but what is this compared to that? It, again, I'm done ranting about that part. It's just a big what the fuck moment for me. And just, again, why? The second problem I had with this was the amount of useless flashbacks this had. Every time we got a new one, it felt like the first one all over again. And it felt like just to fill time for what this should have been. A movie. Almost every flashback that I saw, it just felt very useless, except for maybe the beginning one and the one with Shen May about her brother, whoever, whatever his name is. Leon in general was just generic, as crazy as that sounds. He felt extremely forgettable, and it felt like he got shoved down our throats compared to how Claire was treated in this series. I don't know what changed the dude from RE4 since this took place 1 to 2 years after it, but man, I don't know what it is. Is it the charm of Paul Mercier, or is it something else? I literally don't know. Now, I may be getting a lot of backlash for this one, but hear me out when I say this. Nick Apostolides did a good job as Leon, but there was a problem I had with it. There were times where he sounded really good, but then there were a lot of times where he still sounded like the rookie cop Leon in RE2 Remake. Mind you, this is after RE4, and I can easily tell Nick tried to improve by deepening his voice for Leon in this series. The voice tones and changes in it felt very off to me, and I know I'm not the only one that thinks that. Does that mean Nick is a shit voice actor? Hell no, he was flawless in RE2 Remake, and it's probably his best performance as of right now. When I look at Leon in this series and the face model, it suits the voice of a Paul Mercier or Matt Mercer. If this was the RE2 Remake face model, Nick would 100% suit this role. The face model in Infinite Darkness with Nick's voice just doesn't seem like a good fit in my opinion. I know he will do his best to improve for the RE4 remake, and I believe that will be where he is under the most pressure to determine if he can be a 40-plus-year-old Leon when Leon comes back after Resident Evil 6. Unless Capcom either brings Paul or Matt back, but with the union thing between the voice actors and Capcom, they might just stick with Nick or get someone new. By the way, that union stuff is just so much bullshit. Maybe I need to look more into it. And what I mean by that is Capcom, come on man, pay these dudes. They work their asses off for you. Pay them. Just fucking pay them. But either way, I really hope Nick does good in the remake nonetheless. And as for Leon's character, it just felt really stale and it didn't really go anywhere. The only thing that really stood out was that scene with Jason talking about Raccoon City and Leon saying, "You can't save a country if you don't give a damn about the people in it." That was pretty cool. It made sense. It shows that that cop is still in Leon. And him not giving Claire the chip at the end was so awkward, and it of course pissed Claire off. I don't know why Leon didn't tell Claire why he didn't give her the chip, but either way, Leon was overused in this, and Claire was the exact opposite. Jason had the potential to be a great villain, but I can't get over the fact that he drilled 3 words into our fucking heads: fear, terror, and Panam Stan. I couldn't escape those words throughout this entire series. Maybe they were supposed to be bone-chilling and spine-tingling words, but it just became a meme, and I feel bad for Jason and his voice actor, who did a fantastic job, by the way. I remember someone saying that Ray Chase sounds more like Leon than Nick Apostolides does sound like Leon in this series. I mean, that's a pretty disrespectful, but, I mean, I thought it was funny, but again, it was pretty disrespectful. But funny. And Jason had the opportunity to kill Leon in the final episode like he did to Shen May, but because of plot armor, Leon is still alive. Well, you can kind of say that for almost every other character in Resident Evil. I will never forget and forgive when people thought Shen May was Ada. How gullible everyone fell for thinking Ada grew out her hair was hilarious, and I know Ada would never do that. But I like Shen May in this series. She had great potential to be a good anti-hero, but they killed her off in the dumbest way possible, getting her neck snapped by the dude you worked with to expose Wilson's plot to start a war against China. The fuck is that script writing? She lost her grandfather and her brother Junsi, that's his name, I remember now, and he was one of the key pieces to the plot in Infinite Darkness, and it gave her a reason to, fight and live on, but no. Capcom just had to, do it the dirty way and kill her off instead. But I want to focus on the main problem of this series and why it's trash. A lot of people may not expect this, but at the exact same time they will. But here it is. Y'all ready? Okay, good. The main problem with this series was Hiroyuki Kobayashi. Ever since he got the position to be a producer in animated television for Capcom, he has used one person to be the main star or co-star, and that person is Leon Kennedy. Because he has this sort of love for his character and wants him involved in everything, because apparently some characters were originally going to return in some CGI projects, but Kobayashi wanted Leon in there instead of the likes of Jill, Barry Burton, which also leads to a problem that I have with this dude and the way the CGI movies are being used. I personally think the CGI films should be used to catch up with other characters. And they did it right. They went back into 2006 for Infinite Darkness, but there was a problem. They did it with the wrong dude. And apparently Billy Cohen was supposed to return in Infinite Darkness. That's all but confirmed. Like, I don't even know, but if he was going to return, why not? Why did you scrap him? I love Damnation, and I think that's the best one. But from now on, they should use it for characters that don't get the spotlight that often. That way we can appreciate the CGI films more for what they could have been. Kobayashi is a big problem with not only as to why I think Infinite Darkness was trash, but the path the CGI films are taking. His main purpose is to make Leon stand out and make him look like the superhero he wants to see, and sideline other characters like Claire Redfield and throw them into the trash can. This is coming from someone who absolutely loves Leon and is his favorite gaming character of all time. But I'm tired of seeing him in CGI movies and films. I think he deserves a game more than another CGI film. Revelations 3 is, I hope, right around the corner, and that would be the perfect game for him to star in. Because, again, he's the only one of the main 4 that hasn't been in a Revelations game yet, and they can use that game to, send him off, you know, put him off the grid, something like that. But if you guys haven't watched this, I do apologize for spoilers. If you guys are massive Claire Redfield fans, I would 100% advise you guys to not watch this. I think Vendetta is 100% better than Infinite Darkness. So yeah. And Leon's character was probably worse than in Vendetta than compared to Infinite Darkness, but as the series and movie as a whole, Vendetta was better, in my opinion, of course. They had the potential with a great virus until the end of the movie, which was pretty shit, and Infinite Darkness was just shit in general. I did not like this series. Apparently, this was going to be season one of what multiple seasons could have been, but now apparently, when you buy it on Blu-ray, it doesn't say season one anymore. So it flopped that bad, where season two is not going to happen. And if season two did happen, I would have loved to see something about either Barry and him being a family man and fighting BOWs off, or it could have been about Jill after the events of Lost in Nightmares and being under Wesker's control from 2006 to 2009. I think that would have been perfect for season 2 of Infinite Darkness, but that's probably not going to happen anymore. But what did you guys think of this series? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. What did you guys think about this video? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Leave a comment down below. Like the video. Hit the subscribe button so, this channel can grow faster, so we can build a community a lot faster. And voice your opinions down below in the comment section. I just said that around 2 times earlier, but whatever. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have yourselves a good day, a good night, and a good sleep. Take care, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Probably my live stream. Peace out, and much love.